The silence didn't creep in slowly. It slammed into Maya all at once. 1 minute her phone was alive with Ethan's presence, short replies, a laughing emoji, a blurry photo of a hotel balcony, and the next, nothing. No delivered checkmark, no ringing. Just a flat, unforgiving notification that made her breath catch. You can't send messages to this user. She refreshed the screen, then his profile. His photo was gone. His status vanished. In that moment, Maya understood something instinctively and painfully clear. This wasn't a glitch. Her husband had blocked her. Ethan was supposed to be on a simple boys' trip. That's how he'd explained it. 3 nights away, a reset, a harmless escape from routine. Maya had smiled and waved him off, trusting that marriage still meant access, honesty, and reassurance. But as she sat alone on the edge of their bed, phone clenched in her hand, that trust began to feel embarrassingly fragile. Blocking your wife wasn't space, it was a wall. And walls, Maya knew, were never built without a reason. Maya told herself not to panic. She set the phone down, stood up, sat back down again. Give him time, she whispered to herself, as if patience could undo a deliberate act. She checked the clock on the wall. 1 minute passed, then 5, then 10. With every tick, the room felt smaller, the air thicker. Her mind betrayed her, filling the silence with images she didn't invite. Dim lights, loud laughter, someone leaning too close to him. Ethan choosing fun over accountability. At exactly 20 minutes, something inside her shifted. Not anger, not fear, resolve. Maya picked up her phone again, her fingers steady now, and scrolled through Ethan's contacts. She stopped at a name she barely knew but recognized instantly. Caleb. Ethan's close friend, the one he trusted enough to travel with. Maya hesitated, pride screaming at her to stop, but dignity whispered something louder. A wife shouldn't have to beg for access to her husband. Still, she typed, if Ethan had closed the door, she would knock through someone else. Maya stared at the blank screen longer than she wanted to admit. Every word felt heavy, like it would expose too much or say the wrong thing. She didn't want to sound desperate. She didn't want to sound accusing. Most of all, she didn't want to sound like a woman being slowly pushed out of her own marriage. Finally, she typed carefully, choosing simplicity over pride. Hi, Caleb. I'm sorry to bother you. Ethan blocked me. Please tell him I need to speak with him. It's important. When she hit send and the message delivered, her chest loosened just a little. It wasn't relief, more like borrowed hope. She placed the phone face down on the table, as if staring at it might make time move faster. But the moment the screen went dark, doubt rushed in. She wondered what Ethan would say when Caleb showed him the message. Would he laugh it off? Get angry? Pretend she was overreacting? Maya realized then that the most painful part wasn't the block itself. It was not knowing whether her absence bothered him at all. Caleb read Maya's message in the hotel lobby, the hum of voices and clinking glasses surrounding him. He read it once, then again, his brows knitting together. Blocking your wife wasn't normal, no matter how much space a man claimed he needed. Caleb glanced across the room and spotted Ethan near the bar, relaxed, smiling, his phone face down on the counter like it had nothing left to say. For a moment, Caleb wrestled with silence. Friendships came with unspoken rules. Don't interfere, don't question, don't carry messages that could start fires. But marriage, he believed, came with heavier consequences. Caleb slipped his phone into his pocket and walked toward Ethan, his steps slower now, deliberate. Whatever Ethan was running from, Caleb knew this much. Ignoring a wife who was clearly distressed wasn't harmless, and pretending not to notice would make him complicit. Caleb waited until they were away from the noise, near the pool where the music softened into background hum. He leaned against the railing like the moment was casual, like he wasn't about to crack something open. Why did you block Maya? He asked, keeping his voice low. No judgment, just a question. But questions, Caleb knew, had a way of demanding truth. Ethan's smile faltered, just for a second. But it was enough. He scoffed and looked away, shaking his head. Man, it's not that deep, he said. She's just doing too much. I needed a break. Caleb studied him, noticing how Ethan avoided his eyes. A break doesn't mean disappearing. Caleb replied quietly. She sounded worried. Ethan's jaw tightened. I'll deal with it later, he said, dismissive. But later, Caleb thought, was a dangerous word, especially when a marriage was already being muted. Back home, the house felt louder in its stillness. The refrigerator hummed. A car passed outside. Everything kept moving while Maya sat frozen, phone resting in her palm like a fragile promise. She checked the screen too often, knowing it wouldn't change anything. No missed calls, no messages, just the same emptiness where Ethan's name used to be. When her phone finally buzzed, her heart leapt, then sank. It was Caleb. I told him. He said he'll reach out. That was it. No explanation, no apology. Maya read the message again and again, searching for comfort between the lines, but there was none. Only waiting, and waiting, she was learning, could be its own kind of punishment. The call came an hour later. Maya's phone rang, lighting up with Ethan's name, and a mix of relief and anger twisted in her chest. She answered immediately, skipping pleasantries. Why did you block me? Her voice was calm, but every word carried the weight of the hours she'd spent waiting. Ethan sighed like she'd asked for something unreasonable. I told you I needed space, he said, his tone clipped, almost dismissive. Maya's laugh was hollow, bitter. 3 messages. 3. I'm your wife, not spam. Silence hung in the line, heavy, as if even the phone didn't know how to fill it. And in that silence, she realized the distance between them wasn't just physical. It was something deeper, something that no call could bridge. Ethan shifted, his voice sharpening with irritation. You're overreacting, Maya. I'm allowed to have fun without being micromanaged. Every word felt like a wedge, pushing them further apart. Maya listened, feeling her chest tighten. Space wasn't the problem. His unwillingness to acknowledge her feelings was. When she pressed again about the block, Ethan shrugged as if it were nothing. You're being dramatic, he said, as though labeling her emotions could make them disappear. But Maya felt the sting immediately. It wasn't just a word, it was a warning. Her concerns were inconvenient, her presence optional, her role in his life suddenly negotiable. And that thought was far worse than being blocked. After the call ended, Caleb watched Ethan rejoin the group, laughter spilling easily from him as if nothing had happened. Caleb felt a knot in his stomach. He had delivered the message, done what was right, or at least what he believed was right, but the exchange left him uneasy. Ethan's ease didn't sit well with him. It was too practiced, too smooth, like a mask hiding the truth. Caleb wondered what it meant when a man could so casually erase the person who was supposed to be closest to him. A wife's worry shouldn't be shrugged off, and yet here was Ethan, pretending nothing was wrong while Maya waited at home, heart racing with unanswered questions. Caleb felt a growing responsibility to keep watching, to stay aware, because sometimes silence could speak louder than words, and what Ethan didn't say scared him more than what he did. By the time Ethan returned home, the house felt different. Maya sat on the couch, arms crossed, phone in hand, eyes scanning every sound. The moment he stepped through the door, she noticed the subtle shift, the way he hesitated just slightly, as if sensing the tension. No words were exchanged at first. Silence filled the space, thick and heavy, like an invisible wall rising between them. Ethan tried to act casual, loosening his tie and tossing his bag aside. Hey, he said softly, almost uncertainly. Maya didn't respond. Instead, she watched him, noting every small detail, the faint smirk that didn't quite reach his eyes, the weight in his shoulders that wasn't fatigue but avoidance. She realized then that the problem wasn't the trip. It was the attitude he carried back with him, an unspoken dismissal that refused to vanish at the door. Maya finally spoke, her voice steady but sharp, cutting through the quiet. Ethan, blocking me wasn't about space, it was about control, and I won't pretend it's okay. The words hung in the air, heavy and deliberate. Ethan froze for a fraction of a second, as if surprised by her courage. He tried to shrug it off, offering excuses about stress and needing freedom, but Maya wasn't buying it. Freedom doesn't erase the person you promised to love and respect, she said. You can't just disappear when things get uncomfortable. Her words landed like a mirror, reflecting the consequences of his choices back at him. And for the first time since the trip began, Ethan's confident mask faltered. For several long minutes, neither of them spoke. Ethan leaned against the kitchen counter, silent, fidgeting with the edge of his shirt, while Maya sat rigid on the couch, her hands clenched in her lap. The quiet between them was heavy, not peaceful, full of words unspoken, feelings unacknowledged, and trust stretched thin. Maya realized that silence could be louder than any argument. Every second she spent waiting for an apology, for an explanation, for recognition, made the distance between them feel insurmountable. She wondered if Ethan even understood the weight of what he had done, or if he saw it simply as a minor inconvenience, one that could be smoothed over with charm and excuses. Maya pulled out her phone again, tempted to send another message to Ethan. Something sharp, pleading, maybe even bitter. Her thumb hovered over the screen, trembling slightly, but she stopped herself. Words left unsaid had a power all their own. Sometimes silence could speak louder than any argument. She realized she needed him to see the truth without her forcing it into his ears. Meanwhile, Ethan sat in the living room, scrolling aimlessly on his phone, unaware of the storm brewing in Maya's mind. Caleb's words from the trip echoed in her head. Ignoring her isn't harmless. She took a deep breath and set her phone down, knowing that patience had its limits. But so did desperation. Sometimes the weight of waiting demanded clarity more than confrontation. That night, Maya stood by the window, watching the city lights flicker in the distance, and let the quiet sink in. She wasn't angry anymore, at least not in the way that burned, but she was resolute. Blocking her hadn't just been a careless act. It had been a warning, a glimpse of what could happen if she let their marriage slide into complacency. Ethan finally joined her near the window, sensing the tension but not fully grasping its depth. "Maya," he began, his voice hesitant, unsure. She turned to face him, eyes steady. "This isn't a threat, Ethan. It's reality. You can't erase me, avoid me, or treat me like an afterthought. Not now, not ever." The words hung in the air like a gauntlet thrown, challenging him to finally see her as more than someone to manage or ignore. The following days were tense, each interaction between Maya and Ethan measured, cautious, like walking on glass. Every look, every casual touch, carried the weight of unspoken truths. Ethan tried to laugh it off, tried to slip back into the easy rhythm of their life. But Maya had changed the rules. Silence and avoidance would no longer shield him from accountability. Caleb called her one evening, asking how she was holding up. Maya didn't answer immediately, instead taking a long, deliberate breath. "He knows now," she said finally. "And if he wants to fix this, it won't be because I begged him. It'll be because he realized what he almost lost." There was a quiet strength in her tone, one that even Ethan, if he noticed, would have to respect. This was the reckoning she'd been waiting for, the moment where denial could no longer hide the truth. Finally, the day came when Ethan could no longer ignore the distance between them. Maya stood in the living room, calm but unyielding, as he approached her. No excuses, no distractions, no casual deflections. Just the two of them and the truth that had been waiting to be faced. She looked him in the eye, steady, unwavering. "You made your choice when you blocked me," she said quietly. "Now it's your turn to decide if you want to rebuild or walk away." Ethan swallowed hard, realizing the weight of what he had done. For the first time in days, he truly saw her, not as a nagging presence or a shadow in his freedom, but as the heart of his life, the one he had nearly lost. Words were unnecessary at first, understanding passed silently between them. And in that moment, Maya understood something too. Love could be tested, boundaries could be pushed, but respect and accountability were the line no marriage could survive without crossing, and now it was his turn to choose wisely.